30 seconds, says the race officer. Who have you got, Matt?
Well, we're just alongside Winsome, which was the old Admiral's Cupper from the 80s, but I mentioned her because she'd won her class in Cowsweek this year and was out racing yesterday. And she's just getting herself lined up, a little bit back from the line with 10 seconds to go. All the action and the close stuff is actually happening down your end of the line, and they look like they're getting very close to it.
Yeah, 8749, one of the leading boats coming in. That's Pomeroy Swan. All clear, says the race officer. So a good start for Pomeroy Swan, and one of the French boats as well. That's Short Good, France 3333. But taking the lead, I think it's 43268, and that is Bien Voile, Thierry Bossard there, leading away with a green trim on her sail, and quite a few French boats in there. Well done to them. GBR 8749 also with a good start on 8749, which is Pomeroy Swan, Paul Kavanagh in a Swan 44.
The boats you need to watch out for in this class are, as you mentioned, that one which was sailed by Thierry Bossard. These are the JPK 1010s, and it was one of these called Night and Day, which actually won the race outright 4 years ago in the hands of a father and son team called Pascal and Alexis Loisin. And that was the first time ever that a double-handed crew had won this the Rolex Fastnet race outright.
Well, they've got quite easy to spot because they've got a green trim to their spars there. But I can tell you, James, they're more than two up today. They've got a bigger team on. And they are heading into the beach. France 43515 has had a nice start. The black sails you were talking about there, Matt, that's Cocody, another French competitor.
You can certainly see from where we are halfway down the line, you can certainly see the advantage in starting down towards the your end of the line, because although it was a clear start and everybody was behind the line, it really didn't take very long for a bulge in the fleet to appear, and that bulge accentuated as they go to the west, happened down your end of the line. So there's, as Ian quite rightly pointed out, there's still a big advantage in starting down there. We're just up behind a gorgeous looking wooden boat called Easy Glider. Now, what is Easy Glider? A British boat, looks like from another era. She's looks like she was a former Admiral's Cup boat by the looks of it. GBR
SNS 41.
Oh, an SNS 41. Okay, right. So she would have been the same kind of era as Morning Cloud and those boats.
So the tacking has started here. Ian, how close into the beach would you go there? They're not going too close.
No, this will be the battle now. This is the battle to get out of the Solent, and there's an exclusion area. Those line of yellow buoys that we see, they can't go inside those, but they'll be pushing it as far as they can, and that's where all the advantages of the strong current will be made.
8749 tacking. Good start for Pomeroy Swan, a Swan 44. And the French go about as well, the JPK boats that James was speaking about. How many do you reckon there are, James, of those?
Well, I'm just looking at the list at the moment, and there are they're kind of unusual because you can set them up very differently, and they have different ratings. So we're seeing the majority of them in Class 4 in IRC 4, but there are also a few racing at the bottom end of IRC 3, but as I said, the one to really watch out for, and the one which most people rate, is Night and Day, which, as I say, won the race 4 years ago, and they've been doing a lot of work, this father and son team, to try and get their boats go faster this time. So if it's a small boat race, which I understand most of the weather experts think is unlikely, Night and Day would be definitely my favourite for repeating their success from 4 years ago.
So 38895, Night and Day.
We're just out by Gurnard, just slightly to the north of the Gurnard buoy, and it's really noticeable now how much of an advantage that was to get into that tidal slingshot down the green. We've been talking about it all week here at Cowsweek, and we see it again being played out in the Fastnet. But Ian, it leads me to just wonder about how the Fastnet is very much about tidal gates, certainly on the way down to Land's End with lots of key headlands that you have to get round and get round at the right time of the tide. How crucial is it at this stage to actually get out of the Solent quickly to then hit the next tidal gate?
Yeah, I think all the teams will be really pushing to get out. This year's Rolex Fastnet race, as I said earlier, is starting a little bit later, and even some of the Volvo 65s are talking about not making the first tidal gate at Portland Bill, and that will change the structure of this race. And with a big potential left-hand shift later on tonight, there's a talk that some of the boats might go over to the French shore and be looking at tidal gates off the Casquettes and at Guernsey and Alderney. So yeah, it is going to be quite a tidally influenced race, and I think that's going to make it really interesting as a spectator, because I think that we'll see some big splits, big winners, big losers.
So there you go, Simon. That's the advice for you in your virtual boat. I'm hoping you didn't hear it, because I'm going to employ it in my virtual boat. So I'm going to be heading towards the French coast.
I'm way ahead of you, Sheehan. Way ahead.
Damn. Oh, here's the little silver shamrock coming up. Just we're going back out along the line. There she is, with a little number, well, not little actually, but number 3 blade jib, I think, by the looks of it. Masthead rig.
So how long will she take to get to Plymouth, do you reckon?
Well, I mean, in the good old days, James, it was about in a half-tonner. You reckoned it was going to be a 5-day race. I mean, sometimes it was 6 days, but about 5 days, and I would imagine somewhere around that. But I mean, Ian would have a much better handle on that, having routed all kinds of boats.
I haven't looked at anything quite as small as 30 foot, I have to say. I certainly wouldn't want to be on board.
It's Class 3 next, starting at 11:40. That's 20 to 12. It's a record-breaking year in the Rolex Fastnet race 2017. 368 boats taking part. Another record fleet here. And you're listening to coverage with Matt Sheehan, James Boyd, Ian Moore and Simon Viger.